The one and only sexy mama, LaDonna Raeh.
LaDonna Raeh Show. Well. Looks like we got a whole new intro. I'm just excited and ecstatic. Good evening. It's your girl, LaDonna Raeh, on the LaDonna Raeh Show. Um, you know, it's been a whirlwind of a weekend. So much has happened. And on top of that, today being 421, yes, the day after, well, 422 rather, yesterday being 421, the day after 420, a lot is going on this weekend or has gone on this past weekend. Number one, 420. Happy 420 to all of you indulgers. Yes, that's right. 420 has been proclaimed the day of the Stone Age, if you will, for those that indulge regularly. Yeah, you know where I got that from. Obviously, the Have You Ever stage play by Lenora Brown Rodriguez. So congratulations to all of you that got your way. And welcome to the LaDonna Raeh Show. So listen, Friday was Daddy-Daughter Day. Yes, my father and I went to the doctor. So, you know, my dad's a cancer fighter. And this time they gave me the best egg and cheese sandwich I could possibly have. So shout out to the cook. I can't remember his name because he didn't have his name tag on, but he was just really sweet. I said, "You must be new working here." He said, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I said, "Because you're still happy and cheery and all that fun stuff." Now Saturday, I actually went to WVON Studios. Those of you that know, here in Chicago, we have WVON Studios, which is a Black-owned radio station. It started off as Voice of the Negro, and now it's Voice of the Nation. But here's the deal. Shout out to the Span family. And the reason why I was there was for the Wake Up Show Chicago. As you know, I've actually I used to be the producer full-time of that show, and then I kind of stepped over a little bit and became the part-time producer. So, you know, basically because of my schedule, but I really had a good time talking to people that make a difference. When I say people that make a difference, we're talking about our very own Larry Ivory. He's out of Peoria, Illinois, but he's the president and founder of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. And it was my pleasure to just sit across the microphone with him because he has a plethora of information. Not to mention, Lord Mike was a guest host, and we had special guests, Senator Doris Turner. Now we're talking about Illinois State Senator Doris Turner and Melverta Wilkins, who is the president of the Metro Decatur Chamber. We talked about Lobby Day. I know some of you may not know, what is Lobby Day? Lobbying for what? Well, lobbying for Black business to have access and accessibility and diversity and inclusion. Wow. To contracts, to state contracts. A lot of times these state contracts are reviewed and they give you a list of requirements. So the RFPs go out, requests for proposal, they go out and we make the mark, but we still don't get selected as a Black company. Why is that? Well, that is what has to be addressed on Lobby Day 2024, 2023, 2025. So it's been going on and on and on. And each year there are more people going down and piling up to Lobby Day than before. Now, these people, who are these people? These are business owners, industry leaders, CEOs, CFOs, even those that want to start a business, and community leaders are piling up on the bus and driving down to Springfield, Illinois, so that we can participate in Lobby Day with the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and get some needles moving. You know, get in the faces of the Illinois Department of Revenue, the Illinois Department of Corrections, the Illinois Department I'm missing one. The Illinois departments, okay? So there's several of them that we needed to get in the faces of and ask them, what is your selection process and why do we still get eliminated even though we check the boxes? And by we, I mean Black folk, okay? So make sure that you guys look for information on how to register for next year. So 2025 is coming up and you think that we got a lot of time, but we don't. But registration can be done You can call for more information, or you can go to ilbcc.org so that you can get information on how to get involved in things like Lobby Day. Sunday is a day of worship. Well, those of you that don't know, I do the church announcements. I used to watch the church lady on Saturday Night Live, and she'd get on there and she sounded like the church lady. I think of that voice every time I do the announcements, but I don't do them that way. I always do them full of life, full of information, and sometimes full of music. And sometimes I can be long-winded with it just because I am trying to get the details out to everyone that would listen. And it's so important to have these should I say, this participation and people engaged in the announcements. One little girl told her mother, she said, "Mommy, are the announcements on yet?" She actually listens to church at the announcement part just to hear my voice. Now, my voice is irritating to me, but people seem to love it, so I'll continue to use it. And I want to make it fun and engaging, even for that little girl, because she is my inspiration. And shout out to you, my dear. Shout out to you. But after church, that's right, I got ready for an industry mixer. Big shout out and love out to Miss Lisa E. Lisa E., thank you so much for inviting me to such a private event where you were honoring and basically showcasing or allowing the former original member of Destiny's Child, Latavia Roberson, to showcase her lipstick. Her lipstick line is amazing. Actually, shame on me because I have her lipstick, and if I get up, you're going to see a blank. I'm not going to be here. But anyway, it has the mirror on the side, and it lights up, and I've got her lip gloss. I mean, it's really pretty. I got this pink. I love pink. But I stopped wearing lipstick after COVID because of the face mask. And so now I got to find myself getting slowly back into it. And I kind of enjoy just my bare lips. But if I'm going to wear some lipstick or some lip gloss, I would definitely give a shout out to Latavia Roberson for her lip gloss line, which is called Bougie Lip Cosmetics. And it is certainly bougie, okay? I want to definitely say thank you for the invitation to Lisa E. Lisa E. has been a producer in radio in Chicago for the longest. And I don't think she gets enough shout outs, enough love, but people do come and show out, or they show up and show out. What I forgot to warn you about was that I wasn't putting on makeup, lashes, lipstick, none of that today. Okay. I've been glammed up all weekend. I feel like I've been glammed up for 2 weeks in a row. And today I just said, if I had my bleep button, I just said, yeah, F it. Okay. I'm coming on here just as plain Jane as they come. And it took me almost a half hour to 40 minutes to take them lashes off that I had on because I didn't want to tear my lashes out. But I did feel absolutely amazing hanging out with Lisa E. as she invited us out to her industry mixer for Latavia Roberson. Thank you, Lisa E. And along with Lisa E., I saw a lot of different notables. Lorenzo T. Hughes was there, Nelson Roccadella, Gene Airman Phillips. We had Nick Gallo, entertainment reporter and influencer. I got my list, okay? I didn't want to miss anybody. Singer Sean White was there. He was like, "Hey, what's up, girl?" I was like, "I know you singing tonight." No, I was so disappointed. But I'll catch him next time. Heavyweight boxing champ Doc Nicholson was there. Not to mention TV and talk show host Dr. Julian Wright. I actually took a picture with Dr. Julian Wright. He had on the coldest jacket. I was like, I like that jacket. Like, I was staring at him like I wanted to wear it. So we took a picture together. He was like, "I'm going to take a picture with you." So I saw this on his Facebook and snagged it. Not to mention, who else was there? Oh, the Trey Ward from ABC7 was there. Now, those of you not from Chicago, you don't know what I'm talking about, but he was there, ABC7. George Daniels, Uncle George is always there. I forgot to get my picture with him because when I asked him for a picture, he was like, "Oh, yeah, cool. I'm going to go get my plate and I'll circle back." Well, by the time he circled back, I circled over to the DJ booth. That's right. I was DJing.
LaDonna,
Better believe that I was on the ones and twos. And I want to give a shout out to Jason P1 Lloyd, who was my DJ. He was the DJ, and he was my DJ instructor for the night. I am investing, y'all. I'm going to get my DJ equipment real soon. Ricky, I can't wait. I don't know how it's going to sound, but I know how to blend music. So, and now I know beats per minute, and it all makes sense. But I've always wanted to DJ like Paris Hilton. I'm just saying. I kind of like how she just shows up and her equipment's already set up. That's the kind of DJ I'm gonna be. I ain't gonna even lie to you. But anyway, oh, who else was there? Oh, Chef Tasty T. The food was amazing. Like we had tacos. She was like, honey, what you want? Chicken tacos, beef tacos. She had the beef meatballs going down. She had the pasta salad. It was all so awesome. It was hot too. Okay, like the temperature was the way it should be. I love Tasty T for doing what she did. And also Tyronda Jones was there from Empire, who is now the new reality dating show host of the Never Ever Mets on OWN. Make sure you check that out. It just premiered on Friday, April 19th. So y'all give a shout out to Chicago's own Tyronda Jones for having that spot as the show host for Never Ever Mets. That's right. There they are. There they are. All right. And speaking of which, I really want to say thank you to everyone who just loved on me and embraced me last night. This was totally last night. And it's nothing like going around and seeing people still alive, still healthy, looking better, just feeling good about life and being able to still give to the community. One thing I can say is when I spoke to Latavia, I talked to her about getting her on the show, and she said, "Give me your card." She handed it over to her peeps. Now I'm sending an email out today. She gave me her email address and everything. But the one thing I do like is that she reaches out to the community. Like these are people that reach out to the community. Lisa E reaches out to the community. Tyronda Jones reaches out to the community. These people are not playing around because our community, although they are maybe fully involved in media, the phones, the YouTube, social media, right? They get to see what the narrative that is presented to them should be or is wants it to be. Let me reword that. The powers that be that only want our people to be influenced by certain media is what comes across our telephones and our TV screens, right? With that being said, we kind of get caught up in what they think we should be versus what we should be doing. But there are people like the folks that I named that are heading out to the communities and doing something with it. Okay. Like I'm totally about community. My kids and I go to Tent City every single winter and pass out hats and gloves. We also get at the churches, we will pass out food. There's been times, shoot, when we needed to be in those church lines. And even though that was a while ago, it doesn't seem that long ago. I mean, I'm very humbled by that experience. I'll never forget living in my apartment. There's a kid calling me now. Let me turn that ringer off. I'll never forget living in my apartment. I was about 20 years old. I had two boys. I was a single mom. And I was oh boy, how do I say this? Too proud to get food stamps. Link. I was working my job, working my butt off, but the company I was working for wrote me a very bouncy check. I put that check in the bank just knowing I was going to be able to take care of my family. And that check bounced. Oh my goodness. So not only did that check bounce, every check that I wrote bounced. And I went into the negative and I just couldn't get back on track. Well, there were no groceries in our house. Not to mention we didn't have a refrigerator and we didn't have a stove. Yeah. How's that for trying to be out on your own for the first time, right? So it was wintertime and I cold. I can't say that it was 40 degrees out there because that's the regulation temperature, but it was pretty cold and it was pretty frozen. So it had to be really cold on that back porch, enclosed back porch. And the only way we could warm up food was in the microwave that someone gave to me. I only had enough food to feed my kids. And I don't quite remember this in detail until they bring it up. My older boys brought it up to me and said, Mom, I remember when you fed us and you didn't eat. And it's not something like, oh, look at me, I'm feeding my kids and I'm not eating. I was hungry. I was sitting there and I remember feeding. I do remember this detail. I remember feeding them and hoping that they got enough, but I was also hoping that they left a little bit for me. I didn't say anything, but it all worked out because at some point, well, I can't say at some point because God always provides. He was providing then because when my kids eat, I eat. You know what I'm saying? Seeing them not go hungry made it easier for me. At some point, I was able to turn the corner and do better for myself. Yeah, I was really proud about that link and that food stamps or whatever was out then, but pride will come before the fall. So I eventually left that job that was writing me terrible checks, found another job, started selling cars, got a nice fat check when I came on. I think they gave me a signing bonus, but I was like number one on my team because we had 3 teams and all of them had a woman on them. It was only 3 women working there. Shout out to LaShawn and Patricia Sweezer. Guys, they taught me everything. Um, but I finally got a check that didn't bounce. And I remember just that good feeling and feeling good about myself. And it really helped me to look at the community from that lens, knowing that at some point you can be the community that needs help. So I have no issue with helping the community, and those that help the community, I'm in your corner. And I totally mean that. I totally mean that. All right. So, with that being said, I'm just excited about the weeks to come. We're about to go into the end of April. At the end of this month, there will be expectations of summer weather. I can't wait to dive into it. But before the summer, I have a question to ask you. Those of you that have blocked your family members, some friends, some people that you don't want to deal with, um, I can honestly say that back in my day, you couldn't block anybody. You had to just ask them not to call, or you had to settle the score. You had to talk to them about why you were blocking them. So the summer months are coming and everybody wants to be intentional with who they speak with, surround themselves with, and that whole thing. But when you block someone, do you actually address the issue, or are you just kind of cutting yourself off from them and saying to hell with dealing with them, right? That's one question. The other thing is all of you blockers that block people on Facebook, like I said, block people on the phone. You can be in the same space with someone that you know and totally ignore them, not say hello, pretend like you don't see them. I don't know what that is, but the other part of that is when the whatever unsolved issue is not resolved, why isn't it resolved? Like, what would you do if you were in the room with someone, let's say a wedding, maybe a birthday party or an event, and this person went out of their way seemingly to not say hello, speak to you, acknowledge you, even give you eye contact? What is that? And all it does is it makes you think about the last time you spoke. And what if the last time you spoke, you asked the person, "Hey, is everything cool between you and I?" And they go, "Oh, I love you, LaDonna. Yes, everything is great." Is that a form of gaslighting? Because if that's the last conversation, and then you see the person in at an event, at a party, at a wedding or whatever, and they go out of their way to look the other way. Why are we entering our summer months that way when we can literally get together and be stronger together? Like, there is, if you think back about any situation, there's always a misunderstanding. There's always a misunderstanding, and that misunderstanding is totally misunderstood when someone is able to tell you what the situation is and it's not that person. It's a total misunderstanding when you don't address the elephant in the room and give that person, and even in a trial, the defendant has an opportunity to speak. They don't just send them off and say, to hell with you, good luck, and you shouldn't have done what everybody said you did. We're going into the summer months. Like, this is where we've got migrants coming here. We've got people that are homeless. We've got even our own community that needs help. These kids are not going to be in school. They're going to need daycare. They're going to need childcare. There's a lot of different layers going on in our community. And so much so that we almost cannot afford to divide by any means over situations that have not been clarified. So I'm asking you, what would you do if someone blocked you, didn't speak to you, and you just have no idea why? You know it happened, but you just don't know why. And have you tried to resolve it? Have you approached this person, and did this person tell you, oh no, everything's fine? And you know it's not. Like, what would you do? Leave it in the comments. I see a couple of comments out there. Okay. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because going into the summer months in Chicago, we have a bad reputation for killings. And the reason is because that's newsworthy. It's not all that happens in Chicago. We do so much more in Chicago, and we do have the ability to get along and resolve and not go to a gunfight. In fact, when I went to my concealed carry class, Chris, our instructor, told us that the best way to win a gunfight is to not have to pull your gun out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that. The best way to win any fight is to talk it out. My father said, if you can talk it out, you can work it out. Dang. Like, that just makes so much sense. And so I say to you, and I put a post up maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it said, be careful of the ones you help, as they will be the ones, and I'm paraphrasing, they will be the ones that talk badly about you to everyone else. And all you tried to do was help them. And you have to you kind of have to go into these summer months and say, what olive branches can I lend out? What leaf can I turn over? How can I resolve these issues? And how can we grow stronger together? I have a passion for my people. I've done so much for so many for free, not expecting anything. In fact, so much so, someone told me charity starts at home. Like, I just think that we can all pull together to help each other. I just really feel that. And the people that really know me, I've literally heard them say to me, LaDonna, you're just so kumbaya. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? Like, why can't we just all be cool? I didn't want to say, why can't we all just get along? Because, of course, Rodney King coined that phrase, not even intentionally, but I was supposed to interview him the week after he died. I literally have proof. But I will never forget that statement, that comment that he made. Why can't we all just get along? And I think about how many people laughed at him for saying that, but it was so true. Why can't we all just get along? Like say, you know what? Let me tell you something. This is how I really feel about you, and this is why. And that gives the other person a chance to tell you, wait a minute, that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to do this. And you go, oh, wow. I'll tell you a quick story, and then it's going to be time to get out of here. There was a guy that I dated when I was about, I don't know, in my teenage years. I was pregnant. His name was Jason. And I was not pregnant with his child. I was already pregnant. I'm telling you, my life is, I want to say it's a mess, but it's not a mess anymore because I have a beautiful son that came from that. But anyway, I was pregnant at 16 by a young man that I went to school with. And of course, he, being a young teen, his mother told him, no, we're not dealing with that. Needless to say, they weren't dealing with that. But someone else took a liking to me, a strong liking to me. And I was so embarrassed because I was pregnant. But because it was my first baby, I wasn't even showing. So I found myself trying to, I don't know if you try to hide your stomach by hunching over or, wearing bigger clothes. Anyway, this person Jason came up to me and was like, hey, we should get together. I was moving out because my mom had to find a bigger apartment because of my baby having situation. Anyway, we started talking on the phone, and he just told me so many things about himself. He opened up. Long story shorter, I finally told him that I was pregnant. We hadn't even been on our first date, seen each other in person yet since the day we met. And he said, already? Wow, I'm going to be a dad. He made me laugh so hard because obviously it wasn't his kid. But he made me feel like it was okay. Like, okay, cool. When, back then we said, when you going to drop your load? Anyway, when I had the baby, I slimmed all down and everything. Ended up with stretch marks. Ugh. But he took me out and we became a couple. I had this baby, but he was my boyfriend. And his parents started liking my son and he was loving my son. Long story shorter, it did not work out. It didn't work out because the streets got him. But with that being said, I never grew apart from his family. Like he was always I don't know what you would call him. He wasn't always my boyfriend. He said he was, but he wasn't. But I never turned my back on him and his family because he did that for me. Like him making me feel better in that time of need when everybody was telling me how much of a failure I was for getting pregnant, or how stupid I was for letting someone get me pregnant, or how my life wasn't going to be anything because I was going to be a young mother. I mean, that's all I heard. But then here comes this ray of sunshine saying, oh, it's okay. No, you're going to I bet that baby's going to look like me. Watch, just making me laugh. And I felt like he was my angel at that time. But we couldn't be together because the streets had gotten him, and I just couldn't take that chance. Well, unfortunately, just almost 2 years ago, he passed away. We spoke almost every day on the phone for 30 years. Yeah, just about 30 years. And we had our periods where we didn't speak. It could be a year. It could be 3 years because, unfortunately, once you go into the system, you're in the system. Recidivism is real. But when he was out, I'm the first person he's going to find, right? But he was always just my friend. Well, I lost my friend, but I lost him right after he explained something to me. You see, when we were dating, I thought he was cheating on me. I thought a lot of things. And I didn't give him a chance to explain. Just before he died, I don't know why, but he told me what really happened. And it made sense. It wasn't a lie. I know it wasn't. And I took him on tour. Like I had him on FaceTime because he was in New Jersey and he couldn't get back to Illinois because he had just gotten out again, And I took him on a FaceTime tour around his old neighborhood. And he was like, wow, He hadn't seen his neighborhood in forever. And after literally talking to him daily about nothing, life, just whatever, I get a phone call at work that something very bad has happened. And I'm like, well, what could it be? It was his mother. And she said, Jason was found dead in a stairwell across the street from the hospital where he was released. To this day, I just can't believe he's gone. But I brought that up because I want you to know the importance of not blocking people. I blocked him before and I unblocked him when I realized I shouldn't block him. You don't have to block anybody. And it goes back to what my father said. If you can talk it out, you can work it out. Although we would have never gotten back together, but I got closure in knowing what actually happened. You can get closure in knowing what someone's intent really was. Not what people say, not what your entourage says or the neighborhood says, your agent says, but having a face-to-face talk with someone and discussing what happened, how it made you feel, and this is where you're at, gives them the opportunity to give you their side so that you can have closure. You don't have to be friends, but you can have closure. Getting that closure from Jason was not the first or the last time that has happened to me. I've gotten closure with people before they've left this earth many times. But there are times when I didn't get closure and they're already gone and it's too late. So make sure you go into these summer months and think about those that you try to avoid, that you blocked, that you've turned your back on. And consider having a conversation at least. Consider that. God forgives us all the time. Who are we to not forgive? Can you imagine if God blocked us? Whew, he put you on block. Like, dear Lord, dear Lord, dear Lord, dear Lord. Lord, I just want to wake up in the morning. I just want to walk. He never blocks us. He never blocks us. So who are we to block? Who are we to avoid? Who are we to look down our noses at anybody? Give them a chance to splain. All right, guys, we're going to bring this back up. I want you guys to let me know what you think. You can always comment. I'm everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Let me know what you think. And that way I can spread some information to some people that may be struggling with how to forgive, move on, have a conversation, talk it out and work it out, all of that jazz. I mean, we just truly need something like that because our community is divided enough without all this extra layer of divide. It's not necessary. Like, I don't know about you, but I depend on no man to put air in my lungs and food on my table. Okay. So I don't really need anything from anybody except an opportunity, which I have given many opportunities to so many people. Shout out to all of the students that I've had at Illinois Media School. I see you guys growing. You guys keep in touch with me. I swear I love it when you say, hey, Miss Rae, thank you. I really do want to say thank you to you because you were my inspiration for coming to work every single day and watching you grow, knowing that you were able to take on what we've discussed in class and just soar. I can't say thank you enough and how much and how proud I am of you. You guys are doing it. and keep doing it. And each one reach one. Take what you've learned and teach someone else. Add on to it and teach someone else. Let's keep this party going, okay? Now, let's get out of here. Okay, I ain't playing with you. Get out of here so we can absolutely be a leader, not a follower. There it is. I'm hearing it now. Be a leader, not a follower. Be business owners, not just employees. Get that education. Don't just look for a job. Okay? Let's do this. We got